Have you ever sat in a family gathering, surrounded by people who are supposed to be your closest, yet felt absolutely nothing? Not anger? Not hate? Just blank. If that hits a little too hard, you might relate to something most people never talk about: being afamilial. And no, it doesn't mean you're cold, broken, or destined to live without love. It means the emotional pull that others feel toward family simply isn't built into your wiring. And that's more common than you think. People assume family bonds are automatic, that you're supposed to feel warmth, loyalty, or that deep blood connection. But some people don't. Not because they're damaged, but because their emotional alignment doesn't match the people they grew up with. Maybe that's you. Maybe you've spent years wondering why everyone else feels something you just don't. Before we dive deeper, a quick reality check. YouTube barely promotes mental health topics until they're already trending. Most people only search for videos like this when they're struggling, which means creators who talk about real things often get overlooked. So if you want this kind of content to reach the people who actually need it, even a short comment like mental health matters helps more than you think, and will keep showing up for you too. Now, what does afamilial actually mean? The term literally translates to without family attachment, not in a dramatic, cut everyone off way, but in the sense that you don't feel the instinctive emotional bond others feel with parents or siblings. It can show up quietly. You talk to your family, but you don't feel connected. Gatherings feel like a performance. You feel more yourself with friends or your chosen family. Or you feel relief, not longing when you're away from home. Some afamilial people keep distance. Others stay involved out of duty. But the core experience is the same: emotional detachment from the family unit. So how does this even happen? It's not always trauma. Sometimes it's a slow drift shaped by years of emotional mismatch. 1. Chronic misattunement. Maybe your emotional language never matched your family's. Your sensitivity met with harsh logic. Your affection met with practicality. Eventually, you stopped expecting connection altogether and built it elsewhere. 2. Closed communication. Families that avoid emotional conversations create emotional distance. When feelings aren't named, people learn to mute them. Over time, emotional silence becomes your norm, and distance becomes your protection. 3. Diverging values and identity. Sometimes the gap forms later. You grow, evolve, shift, while your family stays the same, and suddenly, closeness feels unsafe, forced, or simply not you. Is afamilial a medical diagnosis? Not exactly. It's more of a community term, especially in aspect spaces, describing people who don't feel automatic familial attachment. The closest psychological parallels are things like attachment styles, defensive detachment, or anhedonia, but none of them define you. They're just frameworks that try to explain a very human experience. The biggest myth? You're broken if you don't feel close to your family. Total nonsense. Research like the Chi longitudinal study shows that people who lack family support often build some of the strongest chosen families. Connection isn't limited to blood. For many afamilial people, emotional distance is self-protection, not lack of capacity. You're not incapable of love, you just don't place it where it wasn't nurtured. So, and no, this doesn't mean you have a disorder. It doesn't mean you're cold. It means your definition of belonging is self-chosen, not predetermined. You can love deeply and still choose distance. You can care without craving closeness. You can build relationships that feel earned, not expected, and that's valid. Talking about this matters because silence breeds guilt. That voice saying you're ungrateful or you'll regret this. But guilt isn't always truth. Sometimes it's just cultural programming. Healing doesn't always mean reconnecting. Sometimes it means accepting that the family you build can matter more than the one you came from. So tell me, what does family mean to you? The one you were born into, or the one you created? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if this hit home, like and subscribe so these conversations keep reaching the people who need them.